Hey guys, welcome back. All right. So today, guys, wanted to hear three signs that your hormones are stopping you from losing weight in peri and menopause. Now, I know for a lot of you, uh, it's usually one of two things. So either weight loss has become harder as you're going through these hormonal changes, into your 40s, 50s, 60s, or you're gaining weight suddenly out of nowhere, even though nothing has changed. And so we're going to go into today three signs that it's your hormones are playing a part. So first and foremost, I don't think I know because I talk to women every day about this, but a lot of women are not seeing results because they're trying to treat a um, hormone issue with a calorie solution. So you're gaining this weight, and so the first thing that comes to mind is, well, I must just eat less. And I mean, that's what we've been told, our whole adult lives, right? So just burn off more than you take in, the calorie deficit model. Here's the thing, it doesn't work at this age. Different rules must apply. The game has changed. So it's not a calorie issue at this age. What we're dealing with is two hormones that are going to determine whether our body burns fat or stores fat. And those are cortisol and insulin. And as we're going in through these hormonal changes of perimenopause and then menopause, our fluctuating and declining estrogen and progesterone are dysregulating those. And so it's impacting how our body is storing fat, which brings us, oh, before I forget, I put together a free guide for you guys on fat loss over 45, and it includes the first three things I do when I work with clients, with each client. If you want the free guide, just comment guide, and I'll be very happy to send it to you, or you can send me a DM with the word guide, and I'll send it to you. So as we're going in through these changes, the declining estrogen and progesterone, which are affecting cortisol and insulin, guess what's happening? Sign number one that your hormones are having an effect on your ability to lose weight. The most obvious one, belly fat, the menopause belly. Like, it has this name for a reason, right? It's a thing. And so the reason is, as we're going through these changes, we are much more sensitive to stress. And you may have noticed this in different aspects of your life. It just is what it is. However, we can work with it. There's ways to make it better and more manageable. And so one of the first things is, when we wake up in the morning, our cortisol is highest. It's highest for everybody. That's what wakes us up in the morning. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but at this age, it's more so. And because we are more sensitive to stress, this cortisol increasing is putting fat on the belly, cortisol belly, menopause belly. So how do we cut through this? Believe it or not, the answer is pretty simple. In order to cut through that cortisol, first thing in the morning, best thing to do is balance our blood sugar. In order to do that, you want to aim for like 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking. That's going to help to balance out your blood sugar, and that's going to help to cut through that cortisol. So I know a lot of women are doing intermittent fasting and not eating until 11, 12, 1 o'clock, and they're frustrated because not only are they not losing, but they keep gaining. It's the wrong strategy. So that's the good news. I know it's just frustrating when you think you're doing everything right. It's actually working against you. That's the problem. So again, weight gain is not inevitable at this age at all. It's just knowing how to work with these hormonal changes. So that's sign number one. If you're having a weight gain, especially in the belly area, that's the cortisol putting cortisol belly, menopause belly. So you want to cut through that first thing in the morning. Second one, cravings you never used to have before. So, and they're probably for sugar and carbs. Why? Well, the number one reason is because we're more sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations at this time. And as we're going through these changes, we also are prone to more inflammation, like lucky us, right? That we have to go through all this, but it is what it is. So more inflammation, we're more prone to something called insulin resistance, meaning, so if this is you, if you haven't changed anything, right? It's going to explain it for you. You haven't changed anything, but you're gaining weight out of nowhere. There's a high likelihood that because of increased inflammation in the body, because of the fluctuating hormones, you could be more insulin resistant to insulin, which basically means before you gained the weight, your body was pretty efficient at taking that food you're eating and burn it off as fuel. But now, because of the hormonal fluctuations, you're a little more resistant to it, which means eating the same amount of food, but your body's not treating it the same way. So instead of your body burning it off efficiently, it's more likely to store it as fat. So it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that your hormones are not signaling as well. So we just have to learn to eat with these changes to get everything signaling properly again. And that doesn't mean dropping your calories, because lower and lower at extreme, because extreme calorie restriction is actually viewed by the body as a stressor. We're more sensitive to stress. So what does the body do? It has a stress response, right? So I understand everyone's frustration when you think you're doing everything right and it's not working, and it can actually be working against you. But this is why. So we're more prone to those blood sugar fluctuations. So if you're having cravings for carbs or sugar, it's because your body's looking for a quick fix to bring you right back up, or maybe even caffeine in the afternoon, something like that. So the easiest way to deal with this is we want to blood sugar again. We want to balance out that blood sugar. And so we already are having that breakfast first thing in the morning with 30 grams of protein, but to keep it balanced, just repeat that twice. Have the same thing at lunch, same thing at dinner. Not the same food, well, you can if you want, but actually, no, don't do that. You want more micronutrients, but 30 grams of protein, roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to set some basic goals and standards, something you can stick to, right? So, and then the third one, now this one is the one I hear the absolute most, and comment below if you see yourself in this one, is weight loss resistance. So no matter what you're doing everything right. And by everything right, it's the things you used to do that used to work for you short term, right? Despite doing everything right, that weight is just not budging. So you are experiencing weight loss resistance. And this is due to what we've already touched on, these fluctuating hormones. And you can't calorie deficit your way out of a dysregulated hormonal system. So if your body's not using your food as fuel efficiently, it doesn't matter how low you're going to drop them if your body's not using it the right way. So what's the solution? You want to make sure that you're giving your body nourishment, the right foods at the right times of day, so that we can get those hormones signaling properly. It's not about dropping your calories. And another thing is, with this is a bit of mindset shifting as well, because as women, we have, most of us, been dieting our whole lives, usually since our teens, 20s, 30s, whatever. And maybe we probably did. You reduced your calories before you lost some weight. You worked out more, you lost some weight. Intermittent fasting, dropping carbs, they all worked before. They're not working now. And so instead of being frustrated, it's like, okay, but why? And so that's where I come in to explain to you why, and hopefully alleviate some of that frustration for you. Because it's not that it won't work, it most certainly will. And even that stubborn weight, but it's just learning to work with the system. So we're trying to treat a hormone communication, hormone signaling issue with a calorie solution or a low carb solution or an intermittent fasting solution. They're the wrong solution. That's all. So one of the things you want to do is we want to balance that blood sugar to cut through the cortisol and to keep our blood sugar balanced through the day. So we're sending our body the signals. We're sending it the signals to burn fat, not store it. And a lot of women unknowingly are sending a signal to their body to store fat. And they're sending that signal all day long in the form of under-eating, in the form of intermittent fasting, in the form of dropping carbs next to nothing. So it's just you're sending the wrong signals, and then frustrated why the weight won't come off. Not only that, a lot of women are continuing to gain. And even if it's little by little makes your clothes tighter, little by little adds up to more year after year. So it's easier to nip this in the bud as quickly as you can so that you can go on and enjoy your life and learn how to eat with your hormones in the real world. And one of the other things I see women do often is, eliminating carbs. Well, we need carbs. We need them for thyroid function, we need them for energy, and we need them in the form of fiber for a gut microbiome, which is another one that we'll touch on another day here. If you want to hear about that, of course, drop that below. So let me go over this with you real quick again. So if you are a woman in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't lose weight, I can't figure it out why, these are the 3 signs that your hormones may be playing a part. So number 1 is the belly fat. Number 2 is the cravings, because we're having blood sugar issues for sugar or carbs. And the third one is weight loss resistance. So you just can't lose weight no matter what you do. And the harder you try, the harder that weight is hanging on for dear life. And it's frustrating. And I get it. but there is a way to work with it and get off that stubborn weight. So again, I put together the free guide for you guys. If you want it, comment guide below. I'll be happy to send it to you. And it includes the first three things I do when I work with each client. So that will give you a little bit of a head start. Anyway, if you want that, comment guide below, and I hope that helps you and especially alleviates some of the frustration that you most likely are feeling, thinking that nothing's going to work. But it does. Just need the right strategy. We're just trying to fix this with the wrong solution. We just need the different strategy. So anyway, I hope that helps you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.